If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims. Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Lou Pelliccioni. Welcome, Lou.
Thank you very much, Carissa.
Let me share a little bit about Lou. He has quite a resume, quite a bio. So this is a shortened version here. He's a dynamic professional with a diverse career spanning multiple industries with over 6 decades of experience in coaching, finance, real estate, and business ownership. Lou brings a wealth of knowledge and a proven track record of success to every endeavor. In sports, Lou made a lasting impact as a basketball head coach at both the middle and high school levels, leading teams to 2 state championships and maintaining an impressive winning percentage of over 80%. Lou was also an assistant coach at multiple universities, including West Virginia. During his tenure at West Virginia University, they won a couple conference championships and had a winning percentage of 69%. And, when I'm reading bios, they frequently do not give me percentages like that. So it's interesting that you bring that. Lou has worked with multiple all-conference players who went on to play after college at different professional levels, including the NBA. As an author, Lou has written and co-authored 4 different books, 2 of which were self-published about basketball and 2 were nationally published about success and handling stress. When not advising clients or mentoring other people, Lou continues to inspire others with a commitment to success and integrity. So happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
We were talking and we were chatting a little bit before we started the interview. And I wanted to learn more about your first book.
Well, it was very, very interesting. It was when I was going to school. I was coaching at West Virginia University, and I decided to get a master's in speech and communication, which is one of the best decisions I've ever made. In fact, in my book, in my second book, I talk about, in fact, there's studies that prove 85% of your success as an adult comes with your ability to get along with people.
Oh,
And
wow.
your EQ skills and all that. Very, very, very important. And
I
so,
majored in communications, but undergrad. So it's interesting that you said that.
yeah. And so during that time, there was a professor that got with me and he said, Lou, he said, you're still in sports and we're dealing with stuff with anxieties. He said, you ever have any players that get nervous and they're much better in practice than they are game? And I can tell you this, every coach can tell you, yep, I remember that kid. He couldn't handle and of course no one was teaching him what to do about it because at that time we didn't know a lot about it.
Right. You just either perform under pressure or don't.
Yeah, that's
Right?
pretty much it. Except, we've come a long way since that.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. The
as you
sports
see,
psychology and everything. Go
oh,
ahead.
the sports psychologist, and you watch people go to the foul line, they're closing their eyes, they're focusing, getting ready, seeing the shot, all that golf. You'll see it this weekend at the Masters. Uh, Players will be closing their eyes as they get ready to make a putt, and they're visualizing that, and we know how important that is. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's what they're doing.
yes.
Because you think, well, maybe they're calming their nerves, could be taking a
Oh,
deep breath.
yeah,
But
both.
it's interesting, that they're visualizing.
Oh, yeah, they're doing both. They're going through a routine and getting themselves calm, seeing it, because what you see in your mind is basic reality. And so it was an interesting time. my gosh, I had such a wonderful experience with it. We came out with a book in, I think it was 1982. It was one of the first sports psychology books. I think that a book came out right before us, The Inner Game of Tennis came out right before our book came out.
Interesting.
And but I got to go around, Carissa. I had just a wonderful time giving talks. The PGA hired me.
Oh my God. What a great first client.
Well, listen to my first talk. You talk about anxiety. My
Yeah.
talk,
Can you, before you get into that, can you say the name of the book?
don't choke.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, my
It's
first
out of
book.
print though,
I
if you're
was,
looking for it. Yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
and was Don't Choke. And so after that, I was hired by the PGA, and I went to my first talk, and it was out at Riviera Country Club in California. And so I'm in this
Okay.
big
What
room,
city in California?
Los Angeles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. And and here I am in this big, those big conference rooms that they had in those big buildings, and with the wood floors and the big wood doors, and here we are in a place that probably, if I remember, probably you could see a few thousand, or I'm exaggerating, many hundred, and there was 100 people in there,
Uh-huh.
which was nice. But I'm getting ready, right before I'm ready to talk, and I hear the door open. The big door swings open, and I hear footprints coming across. And all of a sudden, Carissa, I can still remember it. I look up as I'm ready to start, and I'm looking right at Arnold Palmer, the great golfer who had just walked into my talk. Now, I used it in my talk. I said, "You talk about anxiety. Here the greatest, one of the greatest golfers of all time, and I'm going to talk to him about stress and anxiety."
Wow. And also the inventor of the lemonade iced tea drink.
Yeah, that's right. But he came up afterwards. We talked for an hour, and he said,
Oh,
"Lou, you're right on." He said, "It's how you handle the stress, what you put in your mind." He gave me a little. I don't know what you would call it, not story, but a short way of looking at it. He said, Lou, you could put a bag over every golfer's head on the driving range, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You pull the bag off, and it's what's between their ears that makes the difference on how successful they are. And he's basically talking about how you handle everything on the golf
mm,
course. And it's from a
mhm.
stress relation and from how you look at it, how you perceive it. Because stress, you look at the definition of stress, it's all it is it's what a person perceives. I can look
Aha.
at
So it's
something
so it's our perception
of
of
any
what's happening. It's
of any
not necessarily what is happening. Okay.
not necessarily the truth. No.
Okay.
And one person, I mean, the best example, I've been very, very fortunate to give a lot of talks in a lot of situations. So I look at a talk, I'm excited. You talk to somebody that doesn't do this a lot, no, it's fear. And that's totally on the difference on the perception. And so it's, when you look at this and you go through all the different things, and believe it or not, Chris, so we were talking about mental imagery, positive thinking, self-talk 50 years ago. Now, we didn't know why all those things happen. It's amazing when you get into the research. I think it's something like 35,000 to 40,000 brain research projects are done every year now. 40, 50 years ago, very few. We
Mm,
knew certain things work. So we're learning more and more and more and more about the brain.
yeah.
And the brain is, boy, it's so powerful in what it does. Uh, I used an experiment when I would give talks. I went around to high schools also and gave talks.
Oh, neat.
And one little experiment I used to do is you put both your arms out in front of you.
Hmm.
You imagine around one arm is a bag of groceries.
Okay.
And
Should I do this now?
yeah,
Okay.
and and then you see all the different groceries in there. And then around the other arm is you see it attached to a balloon filled with helium. Then you close your eyes for a minute, concentrate, and if you really feel the weight, feel the light, in about a minute, your hands will be like this. And
Hmm.
it's the mind can't tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So what we put in our mind is real.
Mm.
And so you get into all that. And that's why I know that, you've been a teacher of meditation
Yes.
and how important that is. And it's in my other book.
Yeah, go ahead, put it up.
Oh yeah, it just came out a few days ago. Success is more than winning. And chapter 24 is how to handle stress and success. Because if you can't handle those, you might win, but you won't be successful.
Mm.
And I'm talking about drugs, alcohol, relationships, all the kind of things that happen negatively from stress.
Mm.
And so it's a very important part of what I consider success is being able to handle that. And I've got a whole chapter on that and what to do and why and 12 or 13 things you should do to help with stress.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah.
So the Olympics, have they been involved in sports psychology about the same time,
Oh,
25 years or
they
before?
50 years.
Oh, a little bit before. Okay.
I've got a research. One of the things that I did that I added to my book, which has just been, I've loved it and I've learned so much. The past 5 years, the book took
Yeah.
five and a
Oh
half
my
years.
God, just researching it and everything. Yeah.
And one of the people, I got to give a plug to Bradley Publishing, who I signed with, and boy, they were just unbelievable. And one of
Okay.
one of the meetings one time, we were critiquing different books, and they
Hmm.
said, "Hey Lou, what are you going to do to make your book different?" There are success books out there, and there's really big name people. I mean, to me, I'm an average guy. That's all I am, and that's all I think I am. I'm an average guy that listened, and because of that, I've been successful and been around it. And this one person said, why don't you go in and get research to back up what you're talking about? Oh my gosh. The research that I have like 70 different research projects in here that back up everything I'm saying. And it's
Yeah,
just,
that's powerful when you do
yeah,
that in a book. That's great advice.
yeah, just very interesting stuff. And, you know, like I said, it's all part, there's a lot of things that make up success.
Hmm.
Things. I'll get people, and one of the questions, hands will go up. Can you tell me the most important trait of success? Well, I can tell you statistically one of the most important, but
Yeah.
it's not the only thing.
Right.
And like in my book, I've got 99 different things
Oh, wow.
that can help. Now, there are some that are more important, obviously,
Yeah.
than others.
Okay,
I,
then what is it? Now you've got me curious. Statistically,
that's what I was
what
trying to do. I was trying to get you to ask it.
you're probing for question. Okay, good, good.
No, I'm teasing.
What
Uh,
is it
There
then?
was a study done back in 2004, and it was to try to find what was the most important trait for success. And they looked at intelligence, IQ, they looked across the board at all hard work and everything. And when it came down to it, the most important trait was grit, GRIT.
Oh, I believe that.
And grit is passion and perseverance.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have those two, you have a pretty good chance, even though there's other things that it
Yeah.
takes.
Because
But
if you hear about athletes and hear their stories, and I've interviewed some of them, like they will get up at 4 a.m. I mean,
oh
work
yeah,
out. I mean, before anyone even thinks about it and practice and practice for hours. I mean, you hear about that, and that is just what you're saying, that grit. It doesn't necessarily mean they're talented at all. In fact, maybe some of them weren't, right? Beforehand.
some of them were, I would say, depending on the level, it's like anything. When you get to the college level, you got to have a little talent.
Okay.
But the most successful talent wasn't always the best, is the best way to say it. The most successful was not always, because if they didn't do other things
Hmm.
it takes to be successful, put the hard work in. I mean, there's another statement that I make to everybody. If you don't work hard, you will not be successful. I can tell you that. There's nobody, there's not one person I know that is successful that doesn't work hard.
Hmm.
Now that doesn't mean, in my book, I was very fortunate to have the parents that I had and everything, and they taught me priorities and they taught me family. And
Yeah.
so, and that's when I get into the things when you talk about the other things about success. We
Yeah.
all know the workaholic. We all
Yeah.
know the people that they won, they made a lot of money, but I wouldn't call their life successful.
Right. They lost the
They lost
relationships
everything else.
or
They didn't have
the
family, or their kids
family.
weren't any good because they didn't spend any time with them.
Hmm.
It
Hear
takes
that a lot too.
priorities. Yes.
Yeah, so it's like having an ebb and flow where you work hard, but then you still can make time for family once a
Yep.
week or whatever it might be. Yeah.
And
I
I
even
bet
cherish like 10 minutes if I have 10 minutes to spend. Of course, I have more time than that, but I'm just giving an example if I'm really busy one day with my
right.
daughter to sit down with her for lunch and connect. I
There
think
we
it's
go.
really important.
It is. And you're 100% correct. And you're very smart for doing that. The other thing that it's really interesting. The more I did the studying and the more I just, from my I'm going to be 77 this year. I've been through many years and a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I love
And,
that. Seven,
you
lucky
know,
number. Seven, seven.
yes, and still going strong, still working.
You look great. Yeah, you're glowing because you're being of service. You're continuing to want to help people. It's wonderful. But go on.
That's for my mother. Uh, she taught me to give, and I'll tell you a story. It's a great story about helping. And when I was about 12 years old, we were one level above poor, like a lot of the immigrant families, Italian immigrants that came over.
Oh, you're Italian? For
Yes, Italian. And come on, Chris, Pelliccioni. That couldn't be anything else but Italian. And so there were people sitting on our front porch. And I said, Mom, and she was bringing out soup because she always had soup.
Oh, I bet it was good.
Oh, uh, fantastic. And
Italian soup.
yeah,
Love them.
and she's feeding these men that were sitting out there. And I asked, Mom, who are those people? And she said, Son, those are people that ride the trains. It was a train track below us. And they
Okay.
come up the hill and they're looking for a meal. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm 12. I didn't think a whole lot of it. I was 18, they were still coming. And I'm
Uh-huh.
still saying, I don't understand. They don't go to any other house.
Yeah.
They go to our house. How do they know that? And I don't know if you've ever read about the train riders. They
No,
had,
I haven't. How
oh my
fascinating.
gosh,
Of course, I've seen movies and portrayals of it, but
there are
not,
books out
I don't,
about
I haven't read about it. No.
their language, about how they helped each other along the way. They would tell each other where the safe homes were when ours was considered a safe home.
Mm.
So,
It's so beautiful. I'm just getting chills.
yeah, well, listen to the final
But,
part. It's amazing. I tell it to everybody because it's just, and not because I was lucky enough, and so I said, but Mom, how did they know? And she said, let me show you. So we walk out on the porch, go
uh-huh.
down the steps, and on one of the steps, there was a circle with an X in it. They
Okay.
put it there to let other train riders know this was a house that you could get a meal from. And that is a true story, as true as I can be. And so here I am, and I knew we didn't have a lot, but I had enough. And I was taught that no matter what you have, you give and you
Mhm.
help people. And I've done that my whole life. Because of the way I was brought up and believe in it and so forth. In fact, believe it or not, Carissa, I get I get dopamine, I get all kinds of things every time I give and help. So I mean, I'm walking around on cloud nine all the time. And when you read that, and then there's a story about that in, I mean, a chapter about that in the book also, how important that is, in handling stress and everything else. Part of it
Mm.
is giving, gratitude.
Yeah, yeah. And, we don't necessarily want to give because we get benefits. It's just a side benefit, right?
The
You get
side
the
benefit.
dopamine and
Nope, nope. No, it is a wonderful side benefit, you
yeah.
know. But I learned the real reason, and that is that, we're here for a short time. Let's help each other. And
Oh, don't make me cry.
well, I'm
That's
sorry.
like a talk. That could be an inspirational talk, right?
Yes, yeah, it could. But the whole thing is what I've found in my multiple careers, 40 years in finance, still working full time, 18 years and other things, other kind of businesses, is that there's a lot of things that come into success. I mean, there are.
Okay.
And yes, that one trait that we talked about, yeah, there's
Yes,
no
grit,
question. It's
right?
very important. There's no question about it. It's
Yeah.
study wise, it's been proven to be. But I'll give you an example. Let's say you love what you do, you have passion for it, and yeah, you'll continue, but you only work at it a few hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that can happen, and it does happen. You're not going to be ultra successful because
Mm.
you have to spend the time also.
Mm.
Now you love it, but maybe you just don't love it that much. You know,
Yeah. There's a spiritual principle in Kabbalah called the bread of shame. Like if something comes too easy, you don't appreciate it as much either. So that's another interesting human dynamic. I mean, maybe some people do.
right.
But it's like if you put in the time and then you're also successful, okay, I did this with if you believe in spiritual assistance, which I do,
I
we
do.
did this together. We co-created this together.
Yes. No, we're on the same lines.
Hmm.
I've experienced a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things like you're talking about. And like I said, I believe in the mental. I believe in meditation. I meditate a little bit myself every morning. I have my own routines, and I've learned how important it is no matter what happens. I mean, let me tell you, I've had with getting this book done, I've had a couple things happen with the obstacles and that if you didn't love it and really want to do it, I'm talking about days before it going to print, a couple
Oh,
weeks.
really? What happened? What were the obstacles?
And my son, my two sons, I have two sons. Bryce is my oldest, and he's running my finance company, and my youngest son Cody is coming in and to the business, and
Okay.
and they are doing the
Congratulations.
audio. Yeah, they're doing the audio
Oh, the book. Uh-huh.
of the book. So they said, Dad, we found a decent amount of spelling mistakes. And I said, really? I said, it's been reviewed, it's been everything. I mean, and so when both of them told me that, because they had just read the book, because
Yeah.
they were doing the audio. So I went to the editor and I said, can we stop this? And they
Yeah.
said, yes, we can, but remember, we're we've got a little bit of free time, but you've got a book signing coming, and the book's got to be out ahead to get your
Yeah.
book in on time, all that kind of stuff that goes on. And he said, well, how long do you think it's going to take you to look over the book? And I said, well, I'll tell you
Like it's
this.
your job? I thought that was the
Well,
editor's
yeah,
job.
it was then to get it done because the time
Okay. They didn't have time. Yeah.
they just there's no way they could get it. It would take
Yeah.
weeks for them
Yeah.
to get it done. And they said, Lou, then you're going to have to move all your stuff. I said, no. I said, I will work tonight. I will work Saturday all day. I will work Sunday all day. I read the book. I spent 40 plus hours and I had it for a Monday morning, and there were 70 some mistakes that I found.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Good job.
And, so if there's no love to it, I couldn't have done that. And I just
Yeah.
it's the love in the project and what I was doing. And
Yeah.
that's the kind you have to have. That's the kind of people that are successful.
Yeah. And I also
Um,
want to say another thing about that, a commitment to excellence.
oh,
It and not just saying, okay, well, we'll just let it go and go to the next print. That's a commitment to excellence, I'll have to say.
and we could have,
Yeah.
as you know, because you've been an author
Yeah.
and you know what things, and we could have. And I said, no, that's not acceptable.
Hmm.
It's just not acceptable.
Hmm.
And so when you get into all those traits and, you
Yeah.
know, all the different stories and the research and oh my gosh, like I said, it has been, I've learned, I really, I'm going to put my own degree up because I did
Yeah.
a degree for the last 5 years. I mean, I feel like,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
And so, okay, let's dig into the title a little bit. So success is more than winning. What made you decide on that title and
well,
that?
we played around with it with my original editor at Bradley Publishing. Her name's Sarah Brown, and I dealt with her for 2 years. And so we were going in and out of titles and stuff like that. And we started talking about winning and success, and she kind of came up with it. And of course, she had listened to me for a year. She had to deal
Yeah.
with me, plus all the writing. And she said, Lou, this is what your book is about. I've been involved in your book. Your book is that there are more important things than winning. And there are. I'm a big, big believer. I got taken advantage of when I was coaching because
Where?
I was so naive and I did everything to the utmost integrity. I would not cheat anybody. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was taught that there's an honor. I played golf in high school and you called penalties on yourself and all that. It's still the only sport, golf, that calls penalties on themselves.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you call penalties on yourself. And so I grew up with that integrity.
Oh my God. But are there some
And
people that don't do that in golf?
I didn't hear you.
Are
I'm
there
sorry.
some people that don't do that though, that aren't of integrity?
Well, now in competition, it's
Could be.
pretty standard. Oh
It's
yeah, they'll call if their ball moves
yeah.
because they addressed it, they'll step back and they'll let people know the ball moved and I addressed it. Oh,
Okay.
there's all kind of cases you can look at of people that
Yeah.
have done that.
Interesting. Okay. So
And
you grew up that
integrity means a lot to me.
way. Okay.
And winning, I'm extremely competitive. I will have fun and go at it, and I'll shake your hand if you beat me. But then I'm going to try to figure out a way to beat you. Because I've got a tremendous competitive spirit, which I love. But I just think there's a dishonor to do it and to cheat. And I hate to say it, we've become that way. Money, I'm not going to say it's the root of all evil, but I don't know what else is that has
Well,
the
it's just, I mean, money to me is just energy, but some people manipulate it, take advantage,
take advantage, do all the things they
right.
can. And like I said, I'm not built that way. How can you win a championship? And there have been cases, I don't want to mention anything because I don't want to get sued,
No, of course not.
but we know colleges that have had problems with coaches and they've cheated and they've done different things and won championships and the colleges don't care. They'll offer
Oh,
more money to come back because they make
they
so much
won.
money.
Yeah, when they win a championship. But
They
can
make
you
so much
go
money.
back to that situation you were going to talk about, that story where you were naive, you were taken advantage of as a
Well,
coach?
this is an actual story. I was coaching high school and we had a very good team and we were playing a very good opponent. And I had a good friend who was also a coach in that area.
Hmm.
We weren't right around Morgantown. We were another part of the state of West Virginia. And the guy comes up and he says, "Well, Lou," he said, "I'm sorry you don't have a chance tonight." And I said, "No, I really think we do."
He
And he
said, I'm
said,
sorry.
and he said, "No, you don't understand." And I said, "No, we've been playing well." And he said, "No, Lou, you don't understand." I said,
Oh,
he said, "See the two officials over there?"
oh,
He said, "One of them is his brother and the other is his brother-in-law." This guy brings them in every time they have a big game. And at that time, we videoed. Well, this was back in the early 70s, and I videoed every game, and there's no question the calls that were called against us were phantom calls. And I hate to say that. Of course, I'm not mentioning where it was or anything like that,
Of
but
course.
it just
It was rigged.
people that will win at all costs.
Hmm.
And to
Hmm.
me, it's sad. But the thing, Carissa, that I hate that I see, it was it wasn't that much back then, 50 years ago. It's gotten worse. It's gotten worse.
Well,
And
I'm naive because I don't watch a lot of sports,
yeah,
so I can imagine.
it's all about winning. That's all it is. And it's because of the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's winning at any cost. There's stuff been in the news in the last couple of years about professional teams cheating and and different things.
Yeah,
And
so it's
nothing
not
really
just
happens. They just blow it
college.
off. Okay, they give it lip service. And I just think we need to some way come back to a little more sanity. I
Yeah.
actually had, listen to this, I actually had a relative that came to me and said, but Lou, she was a big, she really liked this college, okay?
Okay.
And she said, but all of them cheat. So what's the big deal? And I said, okay, let me ask you something.
She
If you're,
said all of them cheat. What's the
yeah,
big deal? Oh my
well,
God. That's crazy.
unfortunately, a lot of them had that. That's why it's so great that now we pay the players. So
Yeah, you pay, yeah, they pay the college
they
players.
get paid.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal anymore. Whatever you want to pay them is fine.
Yeah.
But I said to her, and I said, well, let me ask you something. Your daughter comes up to you and your daughter says, Mommy, everyone's cheating on their tests. I'm just going to go ahead and cheat. And she said, Blue, that's different. I said, no, it's not.
No, it's not. That's
No, I said,
for you.
no, it is not. It's the same thing. Cheating is cheating, taking advantage. And I can tell you right now, it's more fun to win it and do it honestly, and know that you've done it honorably. And that's part of the
Yeah.
book of integrity, and like I said,
Beautiful.
yeah, what I've tried to do is I've tried to, in this book, use all my experience from my 60 years of working in multiple different endeavors. And I've failed. Let me say that. I've failed. If you're in the arena, I don't care what kind of arena, if you're in it, you're going to fail on
Yeah.
your way to success.
And
There,
isn't that, would you say that failing is part of learning?
oh, no question. No, without question. And the great thing about coaching and playing games or sports, right away because there's a scoreboard up there. And if they have more than you, okay, why? And you got to go back and learn all the different reasons why and evaluate. And and I've used that in every field. Sports is a great teacher. Failure is a great teacher. No, we don't like it at the time. Believe me, it's not any fun. The first year I lost in the semifinals. The first year I was coaching, I was 21 years old, and I lost in the semifinals. And my high school had never won a state championship ever in their 50-year
Wow.
history.
So that was very close.
Yeah, and the next 2 years we were state champs.
Oh, amazing. Because yeah, you figured it out and you maybe
Figured it
were
out.
more motivated
Yes,
at that time.
and and it's like anything else, and it's just that you when you fail, you evaluate,
Hmm.
and it's a great skill. It doesn't mean you have to play sports to have those skills. It
Yeah.
just means that it's in your face in sports. There's
Yeah. It's
sports
more
with
obvious.
lights, and it's very obvious.
Yeah, and then just going back to that story when you realized this team was cheating, how did you explain that to your team that you were coaching after the game?
Well, you're going to appreciate this. I think
Okay.
after the
Because
game was
because I
over,
can just feel their energy deflated by getting these calls that were not valid and et cetera.
um, I have a certain attitude on how I approach everything. And there were some players complaining after the game. Coach, they were grabbed, they did this. There was no
Mhm.
call. I touched a guy and we sat down. We had a nice conversation, not then, but when we got back the next day, and I said, okay, what can you do about it when things are going against you?
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
you're so good. I want you to coach my son.
you don't complain.
Yes.
And I said, this is where we failed. We let the game be too close where an official could
Oh,
make a difference. So we've got to
ugh.
get so good that they can't take it from us. And
Yes.
I think it was a good lesson that I was teaching them. You know, in life, you're going to have these things
Oh,
where you're going to,
yeah.
every time something goes against you or it gets tough, you're going to quit or you're going to complain.
Mhm.
And these were kids that went on and won state championships, you know, and all the different things that you have to do. And that, yeah, you're always going to have adversity. Yeah, it's never, sometimes it's going to be always, it's going to be going against you. You got to find out what to do to turn it.
Yeah.
You've got to find out what to do to turn it. And what I've tried to do in this book, Success is More Than Winning, is talk about the basic traits. And the number one chapter is just what we went over the story before on grit. And I
Hmm.
talk about that. And then I go from the main things. Probably the first 12 chapters are made up of the main points that every successful person has. There are things like grit, there are things like responsibility and that type of stuff. The second part of the book goes into how to go from good to great as a person. How do you improve yourself? I use the Warren Buffett. He's been asked many times, the great financier who's been my idol since I was 18 years old, and I've learned so much from him. And one of the things that he said, you want to improve yourself 50%. Believe it or not, he says, take communication courses, take speech courses. And he gives the example when he got out of college, he was scared to death to talk to people.
Hmm.
And
I can
he
see
knew
that about
he,
him. I can see
he
that.
knew that he had to improve.
Hmm.
He signed up for a Dale Carnegie course, which is a speech type of thing.
Yeah.
Get talks and learn how to handle things on your feet. He said it took him a year. He kept canceling it. Every time he was ready to go, he would cancel it. Finally, he decided. He went through it. He said it's the best thing he's ever done. He did all kind of stuff to learn how to speak. He says all the time. He said, "Now you can't get me to shut up."
Ah, yeah.
And on his wall in his office, very prominently, right in the front, is a Dale Carnegie. He thinks it's that important, and I do too. And of course, I was lucky enough to get a master's in speech, and I also had a minor in speech. And so, I mean, and the statistics, the research I just gave you, 85% of your success, your adult success, comes from your ability to get along with people. I love Warren Buffett's idea. He said, let me make sure I get it right, um, about how important communication is. Oh, geez, I can't remember how it goes. I'm sorry, drawing a
No.
blank on
Oh, that's okay.
how to
That's
figure it. If I think of it, I'm going to tell you
Yeah,
because
if you think of it, it's
I
fine.
will.
But I mean, we've got the point of how important it is with
And
him.
that's just one of the things.
Yeah.
Planning. Planning skills are so important. Let me give you research. It's this
Okay.
is unbelievable story. And how a person, how old is your son?
13.
Okay, unbelievable. You need to tell him this tonight. He needs to listen to this one thing. Tell him I'm the one that told him. Because if it comes from
Yeah, because he
you,
doesn't like to listen to me. Yeah.
that's everywhere though.
Of
And so,
course. Of course.
but they did a study of college kids and they had graduated. And there were 3% of the kids that had written goals. There were 13%. They felt like they had goals in life, pretty much knew some things they wanted to do. And then the other 86% said, you know what? I really don't know what. I don't have any idea yet. This, that. They visited these people 10 years later The 14% that had goals were doing 2 times better than the kids that had no goals.
Mm.
Averages, 2 times is pretty good. The 3% that had written goals in college were doing 10 times better than the other kids. So do you
Uh,
think you should have written goals in life?
seems
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
important.
it's right there. I mean, the
Yeah,
statistic
there's
proof,
the statistics, right?
and I'm going to tell you right now, don't ask me why. I was in my 20s. I've been using box planning. Box planning is just basically filling out that calendar. 8 to 9, I'm doing this. 9 to 10, I'm doing this.
Oh, okay,
I've
yeah.
been using it for 50 years. It's the
Yeah.
Harvard did a
I call
study.
it time blocking. Yeah,
Time
time.
blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, time blocking. I've been using it for 50 years. And there's no question it's helped me with time management and all the different things. Harvard just did a study. Number one productivity tip is time.
Oh, that is? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. That's
number one.
wonderful.
Yeah, number one. So when you hear these studies, why would you not do these if you want to be successful? Even if you're not sure about them.
Yeah.
And there's some pretty distinct things like, you know what? If 85% of my adult success comes from my ability to talk and deal with people, maybe I should spend some extra time learning how to do that.
Yeah. I
If
remember early in my career when I was working with corporations,
mhm.
I was having to do a big talk in a tech company, and I was so scared, and I enrolled in Toastmasters.
Okay, there's another that's another good one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And that really helps too. That really helped me have confidence in myself. And I also say, kind of like what you were talking about before about giving, I say, how can I serve? What is it that the audience needs to hear? And come from that space instead of just like me being on the spotlight.
no,
Yeah.
and I agree 100%.
Yeah.
One of the things you just dealt with though, Carissa, and I think it's very important that my whole book is on the premise that constantly growing
Mm.
every day. And there's a real big debate, and it was very interesting. I saw it on I don't know how many years ago, but it was a great debate on the difference between sports learning and typical educational learning.
Okay. Like from a
And there
book.
was a great panel, and they discussed it, and they said, "There's no question, sports learning is 10 times better." And
Uh-huh.
here's why: you get a degree, and you're done. You get that master's degree. And this one guy was a doctor, and he agreed with it. He said, I've started doing more sports learning now because in sports learning, the goal is I want to be better today than I was yesterday
Yeah.
in at least one thing. It might be I read 20 pages of a book, so I've learned something a little bit more.
Yeah. Take
The
that
idea,
concept of sport learning and apply it to academics is what they're suggesting.
that's what they wish it would happen. They said
Oh, yeah.
in other countries, they're way ahead of us in that,
Oh,
way ahead of
yeah.
where we are.
And I
And
think they try with this whole campaign on the growth mindset
yes,
for that. Yeah. So they try, but I think not all the teachers really apply it, I would say.
well, it's funny. I'm one of the things that I've been invited to do and I've done it before many years ago, is one of the things that I've main things that I want to do with my book is I'm going giving talks in high schools.
Yay.
And yeah, so let me know where your son's going to high school, and I will send them a packet to see if they would want me to come down.
Okay.
I will go anywhere. Anywhere. That's
Well,
what I
that's
want to
two
do.
years. He's
Yeah.
got one more year of middle school and then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but that's what I want to do. I want to give back. I want to share.
Great.
But I'm also going to talk to teachers about communication skills and success things to teach kids.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh
And
my God, that would
I've
be
already
so
got I've already got a few of those already lined up, and every I can tell you this, every principal I talk to, they want me to come in and talk to the teachers. They said it would be great
Oh,
with
I'm
your
sure.
experience and of course I can go in and I said, I can talk just about the research that tells us things about success on
Hmm.
what they should be watching with the kids they're teaching.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
some,
let's see. I'm going to ask you, I'm putting you on the spot now,
uh,
Carol. I'm
okay.
putting you on the spot. The number one, I don't know if it'll be it, and it's not a trait. The number one thing, yeah, it would be, yes, attitude that parents do to help their kids to be successful.
Oh, I love this. Get ready, drum roll.
Yes. What do you think it is?
Um, Chores, giving them chores.
You are very 100% correct. The research. So if your son it
I
does not,
did know that study. I did know that study from
okay,
Harvard.
well then you cheated. No, you didn't cheat.
I
You
know,
did
I
the
know.
research.
But I was actually wondering. I was like, oh, I wonder if that's what he's talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So as teachers, one of the
giving
things,
them
and I've watched
chores.
it. I
Yeah.
just I just took my I'll give you an example. I observe everything. And I have two granddaughters. They're 2.5 and 4.5,
Okay.
Julia and Lillian, and love them dearly. And they were at a gymnastics class. And it's just tumbling, jumping, and
Yeah.
doing that because they're that young. But what I watched for after was watching the parents who put their shoes on for their kids versus the
Oh,
ones who let the kids do it themselves.
yes. That is so good.
And that's the same trait. It deals with all this. Let them fail. Let them get frustrated if they can't do it. Now,
Yeah.
again, there's degrees to that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
And
you've got to. It's
yeah.
extremely important. And it was amazing. I'm going to say only about 60% had their kids doing it themselves. The other
I
40,
believe it. Oh,
they
I've
were
seen
right
it.
in there doing this, doing
Yep.
everything for them
Yep.
and so forth. And the studies show it unbelievable. The
Yeah.
kids that grow up, they grow up with more confidence that have
Mm.
that have to do things.
Yeah.
And they grow up more successful
Yeah.
because why? They've had to earn something. They
Yeah.
weren't given it. And you know what I've had? I've talked to parents and all over the place just with
Uh-huh.
my own kids and all that. And I'll say, yeah, but I had to struggle so much. I want to make it easier for my kids. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And because and it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
I
It
know.
didn't
That's what
work.
my parents, they did that to me. But with um this morning even, I have a 10-year-old daughter and she's here and it was her they do have chores, so she had the dishes, but she hates doing the dishes. And so
That's
it
fine. That's good.
took her, yeah. I would say it took her about 2.5 hours.
Oh my God. I'd say she hates it.
So anyway, she'd probably be mad if I'm talking about her. But but I said, you know what? I'm proud of you. You did it. You
Mhm.
you persevered and you did it. So maybe she'll remember that.
You're teaching self-esteem. You're teaching to get through a project. You're teaching to finish it, no matter if you hate it. And even though they don't like you right then,
That's true.
mom isn't the most popular or dad.
Yeah.
It. I was very lucky because of my age. I grew up in tough love. The tough love. I mean, and I tell people in my book, I said, I'm sorry, I'm not apologizing for what's in this book, but there's a lot of tough love in here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
but it's the truth. It's not
Yeah.
like it is. You go out on the internet and you're hearing, oh, it's easy. Everything's easy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah.
Uh,
You'll love this story. I'm
okay.
I'm
And
giving
we do have to wrap it up pretty soon, but I want to ask you like a couple more questions.
okay, but you'll love this story. I'm talking to some kids, and I'm talking about how it's not easy. And hand goes up, and he says, "What about people that hit the lottery?" You know, and
Oh,
I
I
said,
have got yeah, you got a statistics for that, right?
"Oh, yes, I do." And I said, "Well, I said, you know what? Those people do have it easier. There's no question." But I said, "Do you know what the odds are? Do you know that you have a better chance of getting struck by lightning than you do winning the lottery. So I said, I hope your retirement plan is going to be better, filled with better things than that. And everybody started laughing, even the
Oh
kids.
my God, that's funny. Okay, I have another stat for you. Uh, okay, there more people file that win the lottery file for bankruptcy than non-lottery winners.
I have had six lottery winners in my career in finance,
Yeah.
and they're a problem. And they were my biggest problems as clients for all
Oh
kinds of
wow. So
reasons.
you have firsthand experience. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I make them before I take them as a client. I make them read this. I've got different books that they have to read because the biggest problem. Well, we don't have time to go into
Yeah, we
that.
don't have time to go into that.
Yeah.
But it is fascinating. Obviously, there's a lot we could talk about and but it goes back to what you were saying before with the grit, hard work and determination. So what is your definition of success?
Oh, that's easy. I learned that from the great coach John Wooden that coached at UCLA many years ago.
Okay.
Won 10 championships in basketball. And I visited him actually when I was 21 years old. And I went to his practice. And his definition of success is peace of mind, which is a direct result in doing the best that you're able to do. And
Oh,
I never talked about winning to my teams. We talked about doing your best. That's all. That's all you can do. And that's what Wooden would say. John Wooden would say, all you can do is your best.
yeah.
You can't do any more than your best. And
Mm.
if that's not good enough and we don't get the goal we want, then we
Hmm.
have to work on why.
Yeah.
And it's a great way. That's why I'm saying sports can teach you so much if
Hmm.
if your eyes are open.
Yeah. I know when I'm talking to my kids after a game and if he lost, my son lost, I'll say, did you do your best? And he's like, well, maybe I could have done better. I could have looked up. And I'm like, okay, okay,
Yeah,
something
could
to
have paid attention, could have been
pay
more
attention,
focused.
looked up, right? Um, so this might be similar, but since the name of the show is Zen Success, what is Zen Success to you?
Wow. I know what when you talk about, the value is peaceful and calm.
Mm,
You look at Zen, I know that because of meditation and all the different things. Zen success would be to me a peace of mind that is relaxed, stress-free, and I did my best. I
beautiful.
would I would put the other things in there, because I've seen so many people. I've just been blessed with so many situations, and I've seen people crushed by it and, winning and losing. But I also don't agree with some of the things that you see, even at some of the older kids. Well, we don't do this or we don't keep score. Guess what? Life does.
Oh yeah. No, no. That's yeah. Oh, forget about
Now,
that.
I'm not saying at
Or
age
everybody
one,
wins,
yeah,
everybody gets
everybody
a
wins,
trophy.
everybody gets a
No.
trophy. No.
I
Now,
don't like that either. I don't think it serves the kids, right?
I don't think it does either because they
Yeah.
care. They
Yeah.
care more than what the coach does. And in the reality, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. Now, I'm not obviously I think I've painted my point. I'm not saying
Yeah.
win at all costs. I don't believe in that. But I
Yeah.
think it is important to do your best at
Mm,
anything you do.
thank
And
you.
and whatever the results are, you deal with them. If you want to get better, then you know what you have to do. And but
Yeah.
I'm not we're not going to whip them after they lose or something like that. I'm not talking about that type of thing. But no, I'm very fortunate to really get to follow John Wooden during his career. And I've read all these books and everything. And he was just communicators came into his practice and said he might have been the best communicator and teacher they'd ever watched.
Mm.
And he was always, and by the way, he was always even keel. If you watched him practice, he never got excited. Games, he never got excited. He was always watching what was happening and evaluating. And
Interesting.
that was a great thing for me. That's how I coached. I was very even keel 99% of the time. Every once in a while I'd have a breakdown, but not
Mm.
very often. And it's because of what I learned, and it served me extremely well.
That's wonderful. It's been such a pleasure to connect with you, Lou, and learn about your new book, Success is More Than Winning. I'll put your website and how to order your book in the show notes. So thanks for joining me on the Zen
Thank you.
Success
It
Show.
was very enjoyable, Carissa. Thank you. Yeah.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.